WrestleMania, all in and all out. NXT takeover, what the business about. Putting fans in the stands and the millions at home. Like The Rock versus Stone Cold was stealing the show. Wrestle Fandom Radio and Disruption Network with Dippin' Donuts. ICW, we make fanatics flipping donuts. Every time we're live.
Hello and welcome.
Hello.
You are watching Disruption Network, and this is Wrestle Fandom Radio, the greatest podcast you've never heard. Welcome to the show. We'd like to thank EJA Moving Company. You can visit them at ejamoving.com. Hey, might get some free boxes off it. You never know. Hook you up. You don't want to move anything? Call these guys. I don't want to move anything.
Or if you got a kid that likes building cardboard box forts, and by kid, I mean almost 37-year-old males that have no life besides watching wrestling and talking to this jerk every Wednesday, then yeah, perfect place to go.
Yeah. There you
and
go.
the movie stuff too.
Perfect. So what's up, Stu? How's it going?
I work again, so that's cool.
Yay, work.
Word. Except waking up at 7 a.m. is kind of a downer, but it's okay. And
I don't know. I wake up at like 4:35, so.
Okay, I'll stop crying. The only bad part is, I'm sorry. I know, I got love for Utica. I really do. Y'all need to learn how to drive, or the people that come to your city need to learn how to drive at like drive time, because I forgot how much I miss getting called dickhead for no reason in traffic.
Yep, that'll happen.
That'll happen. Syracuse is still worse though. It's okay, Utica.
Yeah, and it always will be. This past, we're gonna pretty much stick with NXT for this whole night.
Because we got In Your House.
Because it was awesome, and then now we have an event coming up this weekend. So it started off with the triple threat match that Jake Atlas needed Drake Maverick to win to force the triple threat. So he did, and now we had the match that started that night to see who won that block. And I'm not sure. It was one of those weird.
It was a good match.
The match was really cool. The match was good. Everyone did great. Everyone sold like champs. Everyone, pulling that rainbow DDT. I could watch that thing all day.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch Kushida make scrambled eggs, and I'd be happy. I mean, the guy's nuts, and he's awesome. But the ending was definitely weird with having Kushida had Jake Atlas in the armbar, and then Drake draped his arm over Jake and got the pin.
But Jake was tapping.
But Jake was tapping right as the ref's hand was about to hit 3, and it was just like, what? It's a weird kind of ending. I know they've pulled like a lot of stuff like that, but that was I think a big stretch for that type of ending. You know what I mean?
I think the timing was perfect. As much as I hate the story, because I really just dislike that whole story. Well, I don't know. I'm so conflicted. But it was a good match.
Yeah.
And considering I haven't seen Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, whatever you want to call him, really wrestle like in a long time. Because it's just me. Drake didn't really wrestle all that much in WWE. Like, I know I've seen him.
No, he came in and he was doing like all manager stuff, and then for some weird reason he was the manager of AOP, which was the weirdest thing I thought. Like, they immediately didn't work. Like, I was just like, no, like
they hit the nail on the head when they had Paul Ellinger managing those guys. But then when they had Paul go away, I guess it's because they were getting called up to the main roster and Paul didn't want to or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine not wanting to travel that much. Yeah. I get not. I get that, but I mean, they could have picked a different person or just had him, run silent and just destroy everybody. That's, I don't know. It was weird, but yeah. And then the closest thing to wrestling he did was the 24/7 title, which he was, in the running a lot for on it. I don't know how many times he won it, but then now he's in, this tournament. And so he wins the match and, and now he's going to face Phantasma. So Phantasma's a lot bigger than,
Yeah. And remember how last week I said I apologize if I butcher his name because I tried to say the whole thing? Yeah, I completely messed it up. I completely messed up. I'm not even trying to say it now because I'll just mess it up again.
Yeah. I'm just going
to do what Vince will do if he ever goes up to Raw or SmackDown, that shorten his name anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I might as well just use it. But yeah, that'll be a good match. I mean, be it if you are a fan of Maverick or not, or the current circumstances of the storyline they're doing and why he's there. Strip that away. It should be entertaining, though.
Right.
But, and what do we have after that? I believe after that.
Well, more might have happened. I always watch it on Hulu, so it's only an hour. So I'm sure the stuff I'm going to miss, I'm going to look super unprofessional. Whatever.
I mean, sometimes there's some gems in there, but usually it's squash matches and a lot of filler stuff.
Yeah. So then the next match was the tag match made out of the triple threat match that's going to happen at In Your House.
Yep.
So it was EO, and what's her name?
Rhea Ripley.
And Rhea Ripley. Thank you.
The biggest odd couple tag team in NXT besides Riddle and Dunn.
Yeah.
I would have to say.
Versus Charlotte, and then they didn't know who it was going to be because, the commentators were saying, she bounces between all three shows. She's got enemies everywhere. None of the other competitors like her. Who's she going to get? And then, we were talking about, who she should tag with last week. And then possibly either the next best person or maybe even the actual best person, Green comes in. And I was like, okay.
Makes sense with their character in WWE.
Yeah. I was like, I'm more than all right with that, actually. Yeah. Those two could run good together. So even if she loses the tag, I think those two should run good together. Those two should have the tag belts. They should get them, and they should just bounce between all three shows, kicking the crap out of everybody.
Well, from what in the rumor mill, actually, because we know that there's going to be some, if we still want to call them call-ups or push forwards or whatever we want to call it, about people from NXT going to Raw and SmackDown. We know about a couple that are about to happen, right?
Right. Yeah.
We know about Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, just an hour ago, maybe I was, doing my normal thing on YouTube, just falling down some clickbait rabbit holes about wrestling news, Wrestle Talk, What Culture, Cultaholic, all those guys, all those Brits. Really weird. All the good British wrestling news on YouTube, or all the good wrestling news on YouTube is all British people. Unless you count Zayn from Wrestling with Regret. I don't want to, get Ant. I don't want Ant calling me and complaining that I didn't mention Zayn.
Yeah, right.
Regret. But anyways, I digress. Rumor is that the reason that she was in that match with Flair as her partner was to get her the rub, because she's supposedly, once again, until we see anything, take it with a pinch of salt, she's getting hot-shotted to Raw or SmackDown.
Okay.
Which concerns me, but doesn't concern me, because when you bring somebody up that hasn't had a lot of time in NXT, we generally see what the immediate contribution is, as we did with the 8 call-ups, Nikki Cross, EC3, Heavy Machinery when they first got called up, Lacey Evans. Besides Lacey, none of them really did much. Besides not shine. And so that always worries me. But I don't know. She's a pure heel, so she could do well immediately. She could have the whether you liked her or thought she was ready to go up there. Lacey Evans was in the main event, and I mean ratings did drag. That's not necessarily her fault. But yeah, she could do good. But I just don't have. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
Although oddly enough, if you think about it, during this empty arena era, because they need people just to get over and do well because their roster is so limited, maybe she'll do fine. Who knows? But the match was good, and of course the heels won. So
right.
She got the rub. Nice little build towards in your house when Charlotte, Io, and Rhea have that triple threat match. But I'm sure we'll get into that later. I have a feeling.
We definitely will.
That later. Yeah. And I forgot what was after that because my brain just keeps going to the main event. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Again, having watched it on Hulu, I don't know what was in between that because it was just those three because it was just it's just the hour that they cut it down to.
So I don't know if my new favorite wrestler Dexter Lumis made an appearance or not. Right. I don't know. I know William Regal and Adam Cole had like their Zoom meeting and they complained a lot to each other and
right.
That got fast forwarded. But
yeah.
And with all the issues I had with how they forced Riddle and Thatcher together as a team, which they had to do, I get, because, Pete's stuck in England. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But then the next week, they had them do, like, the breakup, the heel turn on Thatcher, and then have a match, and lost the tag titles, all in the same show. And I'm like, that's stupid. That's so dumb. But then this match happened. And I take back every bad thing I said about it.
Because they got to redeem the storyline.
Yeah.
With this match. Yeah.
For absolutely. A TV match, it was fire. For a TV match.
Yeah. And I've got to say, like, that the cage that they made, that was, like, the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
They should all be like that from now on. The thicker bars with, like, the track on top. No, that is awesome.
Yeah, like I was saying before we came on the air here, it reminds me of the Lion's Den that Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock fought in, but it was bigger.
Yeah.
Because the Lion's Den it wasn't very big. This was way bigger. And I think Matt Riddle had a lot of fun with it because he got to, like, you see him jumping off the cage and hitting Superman punches. Not one, but like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, just right off the bat, I was like, all right. And Riddle's really good, which I think we kind of get lost in just how funny and how good his gimmick, which from what I can tell by watching him like in backstage stuff, is really just his persona just maxed out, like super maxed out. We get lost in that and just forget how good he actually is. I didn't like Thatcher at first when I first saw him, like not for like the NXT WWE style. Like I thought he was too traditional, I guess is the best way to put it. But that match just built his badass factor, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm down with Timmy Thatcher now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just you know who he actually tagged really well with? Cesaro.
Well, because Cesaro should just be in NXT but anyways.
They should
just send him back.
Cesaro should just come to NXT. I almost said come down. No, he should go over to NXT. And then, if you want to spice up the tag division a little bit, bring some wrestlers in, from some veteran wrestlers over to NXT and get them with the newer wrestlers running together. That'd be a good idea. You know what? Next week's top 5.
Okay.
Veterans you'd have tagged with people on NXT to spice up the division.
Yeah, because NXT used to have a really good tag division, man. And
Yeah.
it has not. I mean,
No.
that they're still. I mean, I can do it, but name me a tag team. Name me like 3 tag teams besides the champs in NXT. You know what I mean?
You can't now. It's like it's down to it's kind of whittled down.
Yeah, Birch and Lorcan.
Yeah.
Technically Riddle and Dunn.
Right.
No, I was gonna say Everrise, but I'm not sure if they're NXT or if they're Raw now.
Right.
Forgotten Sons or SmackDown. Yeah. So it'd be nice to see a tag division in NXT again because their tag division was absolute fire. And I think it would be great for AEW to have an awesome AEW has an awesome tag division. So if they could both just have an awesome tag division and bring tag team wrestling back to prominence, despite Vince McMahon's hate of it, I think that would be great. And I'm a tag mark, so you know.
You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Let's do that in 2 weeks because we could possibly be having a guest on, and I think I have a better idea for a top 5 for next week.
Okay.
So
if we have a guest on, if we have a guest,
and then once I make sure 100% that I'll have the guest on, then then I'll announce that that's locked in, and announce the top 5 as well. So, again, that match. To go back to just finish up, this past last week's NXT. It was just awesome. It was great. It was fire. I'm not sure of the card tonight for it, but it's the show before.
Oh yeah,
in your house this weekend. So it's either going to be just pure all like that kind of the anarchy setup, you know what I mean, like setup of everyone going at each other before this big show, or it'll just be like a normal walkthrough type of show, because it seemed like a lot of the setup was last week. Because if last week was the setup show, that would have been fine, but now we have this week, so so I'm not sure that, but unless you know anything about tonight.
I forgot one thing that did happen. It's worth mentioning that Ciampa squashed, I believe it was the same guy that Cross squashed last week, since they're having a match in your house.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Scarlett came down and just stared a hole at Ciampa the entire match. Granted, Ciampa beat the crap out of this kid within 5 seconds and then pinned him with the fairy tale ending like that. But then Cross came on the, I don't know what they call their giant screen. It's not the Titantron or whatever. I'm not familiar with the man talking. Remember how we talked about underrated talkers, mic workers last week?
Yeah.
He was good. He was good. I'm going to go look up some old Killer Cross promos from and from the past and just watch them and see how he does. But yeah, he squashed a dude whose ring name is Leon Ruff.
Okay.
Why does that bother me? Because I love Leo Rush.
Because it sounds just like Leo Rush.
And his trunks are yellow. Not quite gold, but still yellow. He's got the same hairstyle. And just, I don't know. I think they're kind of poking at him. Could be, people could say that's a stretch, but I'm like, Leo Rush and then Leon Ruff. And looks pretty much exactly like him. Only difference is he acts kind of like a tool a little bit. So it's are they Gilberting Leo Rush right now? Because that seems kind of petty. Pretty petty. Leo Rush can be a little petty too, I think, sometimes, but you already shit canned the guy. Just leave it alone.
I don't. You already fired him.
You already fired him. That's the biggest insult. That's the biggest, most savage thing you can do. Hey, we're gonna make projected rocket money this year. Even if we don't put on another show for the rest of the year, we'll still make more money than we've ever made. But we're going to fire a bunch of people. Then we're going to bring in enhancement talent, and we're going to make his name very close and similar to this guy we just fired just because we don't like him. Like, come on, man. Mr. Ed's dead, bro. Stop beating the horse.
That's the biz.
It is. Sorry. Once again, you said we're good at rambling and got off on a little bit of a tangent, but
we are. It's what we do.
Yep. Thatcher also bled in the match. It wasn't real blood, I don't think. I mean, I didn't hear anything about his mouth actually getting busted because they were like showing him like his teeth or whatever, like 2 teeth in his hand, and they had to stop the fight so that the doctor could check on him. I mean, I know something about having some gnarly teeth, so I don't feel bad saying this. Timothy Thatcher got some gnarly teeth.
Yeah, he does.
And they show the teeth in his hand, and it looks real. But then you look at his mouth. His mouth is still full of, although they are gnarly, they are still full of teeth. So, I don't know. It still made him look like a badass. And they went for a while. And Riddle had Thatcher on his back. Thatcher had him in the choke there. And he dropped him on his back like that. And Riddle sat up, was about to get up. And Thatcher just sat up, cinched in the sleeper hold choke thing, whatever you want to call it. And Riddle didn't tap, but he went out. We should also mention that Kurt Angle was a special guest referee of this match, which was perfect.
Out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Old school, like Roddy Piper just put you in a sleeper hold and put you out type stuff.
Yeah.
So they just made Thatcher there because he beat Riddle. Riddle does not lose, by the way. And plus Riddle's going to be going to SmackDown soon. So good. Different way for Riddle to end his NXT tenure. I really thought he was going to win the world title there. I really did. Just like I really think they're going to have Keith Lee win it. We can get into it later when we talk about In Your House. But
we can get into it right now.
Yeah, well, that's where we're going with it. Well, before I continue talking about what I was just going to say, then I guess we should probably start. Like the card is always subject to change. We know this.
Right.
I'm not sure of the exact order, but I would imagine the world title match between Cole and Velveteen Dream will be at the end. So I would also imagine that a match like, I don't know if it'll start, but you got Ciampa versus Cross. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be the easiest match of the night to call. And I'm going to go with Cross winning just because it's his third match in NXT. The first 2 were against enhancement talent, and he squashed them. So I think he's going to go over on Ciampa. Oh, you can't hear me? Because I can't hear you either. Should I get a piece of paper and write on it? Yeah, it's weird.
I can't hear.
Oh, hey, there he is.
There we go.
Please wait. Technical difficulties.
That
Sorry, God had to whisper in my ear, Garrett, so it blocked out anything you were just saying.
I couldn't hear you. I totally lost everything there for a second. All right, so what did you say? Sorry.
I said, because Cross, it's only going to be his third match in NXT. It's going to be his first pay-per-view or whatever you want to call him nowadays. He squashed the other 2. Ciampa's already a made man, if not the most made man in NXT. He's one of like top 3. So I think they're going to have Cross beat Ciampa.
Okay. Do you think he's going to beat him clean, or is he going to have help?
What do I think will happen? No, you know what? I think he will beat him clean. Like, I mean, it depends on what you call clean. Like, the Scarlet...
I'm going to say interference from Scarlet.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because that's... Yeah. I kind of just... I should have worn my Ciampa shirt for this, because, you know, I'm a mark for the dude. I really am. I really love him as a heel, which is what I'd like him to go back to being.
Right.
But, yeah, you know what? To be honest, I know they won't do it like super quick, like when Cross beat the other 2 like chumps that they've had him wrestle. I know they won't do it that quick, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had Cross beat Ciampa really fast and like not squash him, but beat him fast, just to
Right.
show his dominance. Because I think
as a show of force.
yeah, with that entrance and the amount of time and how heavy and hard Triple H, like Paul Levesque is on paper, saying how much he wanted to get that dude into NXT. So with all the effort and everything, I think they're going to groom him. They are grooming him to be like a main event player in NXT.
Okay.
So I think Cross is going to win. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Cross. I'm going to go with Cross as well. And okay. I don't know about what they're going to do about time of it, but I think Scarlett will do, even if it's not the final factor, she will interfere somehow with her presence, and it'll throw Ciampa off just a little bit, and then that'll be that.
Shenanigans. Some shenanigans, then. Not necessarily shenanigans, but some
shenanigans. So
beat me through it, shit.
So then what do you think is next?
I don't know if it'll be next, but I know we've got well, what I'm really waiting for is for this man to go face Walter for the NXT UK Championship. But until we can fly places, we've got Finn Balor versus Damian Priest.
Yes.
Or would you like to go first, sir?
I honestly don't know who's going to win this, because I know that they're gonna want to keep Balor looking like the big shot. You know what I mean? That, and especially if he's going to end up getting the UK title, which I think would definitely be smart, even if he ran all over here with it and then it went back to UK. But again, I don't want an American touching that for at least a decade. You know what I mean? I don't. And it's not that I don't have anything against America. It's the UK belt, and I want it to get its due with UK people first. So, for anyone who thinks I'm anti-American,
Grant Walter is from like Germany, but
still anywhere like
I get it.
I don't want it's here. There's enough belts here. Okay, they've got one belt right now. If they bring the European title back, American, and it's on that show, Americans can win it all day. You know what I mean? Put that thing on Cassius Ohno over there and let him, be the mid-card champ for I don't care how long. Except
that's one of the many people they fired too is Cassius.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, he's going back to being Chris Hero, baby. It's all right.
That's fine. That's cool. Anyways, I don't know, because I know that they want Priest to definitely look like a big player as well, which he is, and he's good.
But he loses everything.
But he loses. So this may be his chance to get a little bit of a push. I'm not really sure where they're going to go with this. So I don't know what insight you have for it.
I'm taking Priest. Because I think even if Balor was to lose, and people can get all up in arms about this too, but even if he was to lose cleanly, I still think it's only a small dip compared to what has been happening to Priest. Because I have a feeling that Priest, I don't know, it feels like Priest was supposed to be a bigger deal, kind of like how Cross is right now.
Right.
And then they just, they just didn't do it. So. Right. I think, speaking of a good tag team, now I'm thinking about it, Cross and Priest would be a good tag team. But anyways, I think Priest is going to win. It's not going to hurt Balor's stock all that much. In NXT, he is once again also a made man, so I don't think it'll really hurt him all that bad. I almost think this show is kind of designed to get people over, get new people in NXT over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. So we have 5 or 6 matches?
6 matches, because normally we get 5 at takeovers, but we're getting 6. So, and once again, I'm going off the top of my head because I'm trying not to move my phone so that God does not smite me.
Is there a tag title match?
There is not.
Yeah, that's what I was like. That's a little weird.
Yeah, that's the one I'm having trouble with.
Again, no
'Cause, like-
tag team. The tag team division has been weakened.
Yeah. So, wait. North American, World, Women's. Who am I forgetting?
That's why I looked at the card earlier, and I don't know. I'm terrible. So usually I have my phone to look at all this stuff, but now I'm using my phone in order to do the show.
Same.
So now it's there. But anyways, so we have the women's world title, right?
Yeah.
Which
Triple
is going to be the triple threat that we talked about between Io Shirai, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley. So who do you see walking away with it right now?
This one's actually really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. The easy answer would be like, oh, they're just going to keep it on Charlotte until Charlotte and Rhea have another match. But I might be being influenced by those cheeky Brits and all their super smart wrestling news and prediction stuff. But I kind of like the idea of, believe it or not, Io Shirai winning.
I think Io should walk away with it.
Because you're going to see Rhea and Flair again. So
and they can come back and be the champs anytime. I think Io's been super hot lately and getting a lot of attention, and I think it'd be good. I think it'd be the smart thing to do, because a lot of like the masses wouldn't expect it, you know, like you said, you know, like we think that Io should win, and like, you know, the other YouTube, you know, speculators, people like us that are on, you know, they think Io should win, and it'd be the smarter move, I think.
It'd be the longer play too, to kind of extend this Rhea Charlotte feud.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everything's up in the air. Everything's an unknown right now. Yeah, we're all starting to go back to work. Nothing will ever be normal again. But, you know, they don't really know how long they're going to be without crowds and traveling and this, that, and the other. So just to extend this feud, give it to Io. And also, just another reason behind my reasoning would be, I have heard that not only is Kairi Sane's contract up very shortly, but so is Io's. And there's rumors that both of them want to go back to Stardom in Japan. So I'm thinking this might be a little bit of a way to keep Io here, maybe. And here we'll
give Io at least one run before she goes back would be awesome. You know, I think she deserves it. And I think it'd be smarter for the show, you know, because then even if the intention is to get it back on Rhea, okay, you just have Rhea come back for it later when, you know, have her wrestle Charlotte a little more, and then, you know.
And we all know that they're just trying to rack up those title wins for Charlotte because of who her daddy is. And you can't tell me any different, because it's true.
It's true.
So then she can be Io, and she can be the first ever 3-time NXT Women's Champion. I really dislike talking badly about Charlotte Flair, because she is phenomenal for someone that didn't want to get into the business, that had admirable reasons for doing it because her brother really wanted to be a wrestler and then he died. You know, so I find that, and she's freaking good. She's really good. But I just hate how they're kind. I don't want to say they're shoving her, you know, down everyone's throats, but they kind of are.
They're force feeding Charlotte to you.
Yeah. But to be honest,
some stuff has to start coming naturally, and that's why I think if you want to, and that's why I keep going back to, you want to keep her in the limelight, you want to keep some gold on her, you want to do something, put the women's tag title on her, let her put prestige on that, you know, let her do that.
Plus this way I get what I want, and then WWE in the long run can get what they want. You know what I mean? I get an Io Shirai title victory, and they can have Charlotte beat her, which will inevitably, and you know it will set up Rhea versus Flair, which Rhea's going to win. She's going to get her belt back. She'll be the fastest woman to get to 2 NXT championships. That's how I foresee it happening.
Right.
So I'm going with the L.
All right. Okay.
I almost want.
I'm gonna go. I'm going with you because that's really what I want to see.
Now, who does Io pin though?
I think Charlotte does. What you call it? The
natural selection.
The natural selection.
Yeah.
And then Io like drop kicks her out of the ring and then pins Rhea.
Or hits a moonsault. See, but yeah. I would actually have her pin Charlotte Flair. But have some, shenanigans like that happen. Make them all look strong, whatever. I mean, well, to be honest, she's Charlotte Flair. Pretty much no matter what you do, she looks strong because she's a badass.
Yeah, she's lost a bunch of times. She's still one of the best ever. She's still my favorite. So
she's the Triple H of women's wrestling.
Yeah.
She doesn't bury like everybody.
Yeah. So the North American, who do we have going for that? Obviously, is
really oddly entertaining, but yet I want to punch him in the face. Heel Johnny Gargano versus Keith Lee for the North American title.
Unless they're going to push Lee right now to go against Cole to win the title. I mean, I don't see how Keith would beat him unless, like you said, what's the word you keep using for the way that they're acting?
Oh, a lot of different ones. So.
But dorks. I mean, again, we could have the outside shenanigans like her doing stuff and then Johnny cheating and then he putting it. I would if Keith Lee is going to get propelled to be the NXT champ right now, I would like it to be now and have Johnny win it and run it as a heel. And hold it for a long time because they can get away with a lot of stuff running as a heel. And then you put Keith up and Adam Cole, he's been a good champ. He's been, but it's been a little dry for a little while. I think you need to shake it up a little bit. And this could be good. This could be the time to do a lot of that. So I'm actually going to go Gargano wins with shenanigans.
Yep. Because Johnny is a one-time North American champion, but he had it for like a sneeze, and that's it. Yeah, he seriously did. He had it for a sneeze. It's when Tommy Chomps had the world title. You remember? Champ had the world title, and he won the North Americans when he was doing that really weird, like, heel, but he's not quite a heel thing.
Yeah.
He was the one that attacked Aleister Black or whatever.
Yeah.
Back when NXT was the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Got him.
I'm in. I like it. I'm just trying to get over the whole he had it for a sneeze thing. That's funny.
Funnier when I'm tired, bro.
But
I
agree. So we're both on board. Gargano wins with shenanigans.
Yeah, Gargano's going to win.
So hopefully Keith Lee is going to be going towards Cole.
I do believe he will, and that's why I'm picking Adam Cole to beat the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. Dream's still not ready. I'm sorry. I don't dislike the guy in any way, but he's got the character and the charisma. I mean, the guy oozes it. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you're ready. That his character was so good that it propelled him further than his wrestling was ready for. And the reason he did have really good matches was it was the people that he was wrestling. He couldn't have had the 5-star matches he was having with like Aleister Black. He couldn't have had those with just any random person. You know what I mean? Like, you needed to have it with certain people. You know, yeah, he can do the big spots and he can make things look awesome, and he does like he's really good at the whole like getting beat down and feigning and then like coming back, the Bugs Bunny. You know, he's really good at it. But you still need someone on the other side to be the super big guy. And I'm sorry, he's just not ready. You want to put the mid card in the bottom? I'm cool with that. But I don't think, and it would also depend on who the champ is. He's not going to beat Adam Cole, and he's not going to beat Keith Lee. It'd have to be somebody else later on.
Yeah,
So.
I would like to see Dream stay in, and I know he really wants to be called up. He's worn it on his tights, call me up Vince. He's made references to it. Like, I don't think recently, like a while ago when he was first starting to, make a lot of noise.
I'm still trying to tell people it's an equal show, and if it was like all of a sudden, boom, I was transformed into like, perfect shape, and they're like, hey, here's a WWE contract. I go to NXT. Oh yeah, it's where I'd go. I wouldn't go to Raw. I wouldn't go to SmackDown. I'd go to NXT, hands down.
Don't have to pay taxes in Florida. Don't have to travel all that much. Perfect. What was I going to say? I see Dream getting, eventually will go, but I'd like to see him stay in NXT for at least another year, if not 2. Because I think Vince just likes to grab like all the top stars from NXT because he's, I'd say he sees them in action, but he doesn't. Because it's also rumored that when Vince was like, hey, we need to call up some people in NXT, give me 8 of your best. He's like, okay, these are our 8 best. That's the story I hear. And it was like Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, because he didn't want Vince getting his hands on the people he got his hands on, which was Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano, and who else got called up with those? Ricochet.
Right.
And the only person that had success out of those 4, I mean, Ricochet started to, but then he did something to piss off management because they just freaking golden shoveled the hell out of him. But the only one really is Aleister Black. So I think they need to leave Dream there so that they remain having star power. Because I don't think Ciampa's already said he wants to retire in NXT. So that's cool. So I could see him and Johnny staying there. But I think also just leaving Dream down there so that they have some a consistent, person that's been there.
Right.
Because it seems like lately, besides like Undisputed Era, Tommy Ciampa, Gargano, there's lots of new faces, and they just had to develop all these people rather quickly. Case in point, Timothy Thatcher. And, because they're so thin on Raw and SmackDown now that they're coming down and they're scooping up Riddle, as I said earlier, rumored about Chelsea Green going. And did you know this one? Guy Djokovic?
No.
He's going to Raw, bro.
No, he's going to get lost in the shuffle.
He tweeted that his main goal when he goes to Raw is for the U.S. title. Whether that'll happen or if that's just him tweeting something. But that would be cool. I'd dig seeing Dom go against Apollo Crews.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he could definitely have a good run if they let him have it.
He could have a good feud with Apollo. Make him the heel.
Yeah.
Like he was when he first came in.
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
I think we both kind of gave away who we think is going to win the world title match, though, between Dream and Cole.
Oh, yeah. No, Cole. Definitely
Dream. I mean, Cole.
Yeah. So now I definitely want to get to the top 5. I know we've already been going. We've already been rambling. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but
I don't know. We said this was going to be a shorter one too.
Yeah. But I want to get to the top 5 because this week's top 5 is which we decided at 25 minutes to the show went on. I think it was.
Well, we forgot what the top 5, which I'm pretty sure I made up at the end of the show last week, and it was supposed to be a joke. Where you're like, "Yeah, let's go with that," and I was like, okay. But we both forgot what it was. So
I don't remember what it was. So this week's top 5, like you said, we're actually going to have people who should be managers.
yes,
So
because
and I immediately like this, but it's going to end up. I don't want to get deep into like who they should be managing exactly, even unless you have something really specific or just like a general idea. So,
like you said, I just came up with that idea 20 minutes ago. I'm like, no caffeine.
So my number 5 is actually, I'd like to see when he's done wrestling. I'd like to see Ray, and I'd really like to have him. I know it's going to sound weird and stupid and cliche, but I'd love to see him gather all the other masked wrestlers to really just, go all over and just destroy, maybe rack up some titles and just something cooler to, to see what's going on.
Dude, if
just
205 Live wasn't such a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't want to see, like, it's not going to be Lucha House Party. Get that out of here, okay? I want to see them really, like, all together, like, literally every single one of them all together, and then just destroying guys left and right. Could be really cool. Who do you have for number 5?
Well, I don't know what number they're actually going to be, and I'm just kind of going to fly off the handle here because I put zero thought into this. But before he came on the air, my brain was just trying to rack it real quick. I'm like, who? I got one. The franchise, Shane Douglas.
Ooh, yeah.
One of my favorite pastimes right now is going on, I think it's the actual All Elite Wrestling like Facebook page. And you know me, I'm not really a troll in social media because I just keep your negative garbage over there. But I enjoy trolling wrestling fans, especially on AEW pages. Some are kind of dumb, like pretty dumb. And I apologize for saying that about another human, but they're just dumb. And I keep seeing them talking about how Arn and Tully should do, once again, a new version of the Four Horsemen in AEW and who would be in it. And they keep talking about like Arn and Tully being the managers. I'm like, man, you'd have a lot of pieces you'd have to move to get that to happen. But, I mean, I don't want to say I'd want him to manage like a new iteration of the Four Horsemen, although there'd be a lot of backstage story of that because of the heat between, supposedly the heat between Flair and Douglas back in the day, or maybe it's still going to this. Yeah, it's still going to this day. I mean, I haven't heard any different. But right. If he made like once again, not talk about who he'd manage, but they put him in charge of a stable that was kind of Four Horsemen-ish, but like was supposed to kind of be like the anti-Four Horsemen. I don't know. I think Shane Douglas is way better than history is going to remember him. I think he's one of the better, I don't even want to say ECW world champions. I think he's one of the better world champions ever, no matter, despite promotion.
Right.
So I'd like to see the franchise, not Dean Douglas. I'd like to see the franchise, Shane Douglas.
The franchise, Shane Douglas. It'd be cool. You can even call the stable the franchise. You know what I mean? Like,
or even if he made a new version of the Triple Threat, that was his stable back in ECW. Even if he made like a new version of the Triple Threat, he was the manager.
Right.
I'd be cool with that.
3-man teams have been pretty popular as of late. You know what I mean? They've been doing them a lot lately. But again, I like to see some bigger stables.
Yeah, it warms my heart. Same with the fact that you see all these managers coming back now too, or not coming back, but being featured. I love it.
Yeah. So then for number 4, I actually have the only female on my list. I would really love to see Gail Kim anywhere, in any promotion. I don't care what promotion it's in. I would love to see her manage at least a 3-woman team, if not 4 or maybe even 5.
Hey, Mike King, if you're listening, could you try to get like Gail Kim for an Immortal show sometime or something?
Again?
That was the whole joke. But okay. Anyways,
please. But yeah, Gail Kim. I mean, she's Gail Kim. Let's just so.
Yeah, one of those
Then
wrestlers
that's that.
where she can face it up or heel it up, and it doesn't bother me which alignment she goes with.
It could be smart to do. Impact has a decent women's roster. And they only have the singular show, so it could be smart to do it there. So I that's where I put my, because obviously they have to have people to go against too. So you have to have enough women. So. But yeah, who do you got next?
Oh God! See, like I said, these are all pretty much popping off the top of my head, and I'm gonna sound like I'm just naming like former big ECW stars because I was about to say Raven, but I'll try to make this my last ECW star. Tommy Dreamer. I could see Tommy. Yes. I could see him managing a tag team.
Yes.
I could see that. I could see that happening, but I mean, he's too far. Or even if he did it in his promotion, House of Hardcore.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does. I can't really say.
Could,
so I might just be talking about.
But even like one of the
national audience though. What we'd like to see on the national product. So
I mean, Ring of Honor would be good.
Dude.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I know he was not part of the original, and I mean the stable didn't really do a whole lot besides be a joke, but they're one of my favorite stables of all time. Tommy Dreamer. And no, you know what? I'm just going to change it. Screw Tommy Dreamer. Sorry, Tommy, you're a nice guy and all. I want Al Snow to come back as manager, and I want him to manage the Job Squad.
Oh!
Go to AEW. Go to AEW, just have him manage like Brandon Cutler and apparently now Sean Spears. And just have him manage some jobbers and get some good comedy out of it.
Job Squad. Yeah.
You remember when I was Al Snow for Halloween?
Huh?
Do you remember when I was Al Snow for Halloween?
Yeah, I do, actually, yeah.
I went trick-or-treating at like the age of 16 or something with a mannequin head and flipped it up and told people to stuff the candy inside the mannequin head. And then I had to break the mannequin head open to eat the candy.
It was awesome.
It was a great time. I didn't have a goatee at the time, so it was pretty much me walking around in a white T-shirt that I wrote Job Squad on. And I wrote Help Me on my head, and I dyed my hair blonde, which my father loved.
Yeah, he was thrilled about that.
Well, he got used to it the year before, because I remember the year before, it was the first time I ever dressed up as a wrestler, and I dressed up, Raven. I did Raven one year.
Yeah, you did Raven, yeah.
That was the first time I dyed my hair, which my father was a pretty traditional guy, was not a fan of in like the late 90s. Sorry if you're watching, awesome. Dad, but Norm had a hard time in the late 90s. I was the youngest, too. Yeah, to be fair.
So, for my next one is definitely unique because I wanted to start off as two guys managing, a bunch of guys together. I would really love to see Edge and Christian form they've got 4, 5, 6 guys that they have, and then eventually something fractures, and then it's Edge's guys versus Christian's guys, and it could be a whole big thing, and I don't know, it could be cool.
And then they have a Survivor Series match.
Yeah, just something.
Team Edgehead.
Yeah.
Or Team Rated R versus Team Peep.
Yeah, it could be, you can keep it going, and it could be pretty cool. But yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see either or both of them, but as managers, they still got the charisma, they've still got the star power, they should do it. So,
okay.
Who do you got for next?
Well, I was actually going to say a tag team, but I didn't have a lot of thought or rationale behind it. I just thought it'd be cool to see a tag team as like managers. But then you just did that. But
who's your tag team though?
Well, they're still active. They are legends. All right. I want to. Sorry, brain just midnight. The Rock and Roll Express.
Yes. Yep.
Still active, older, still rocking some killer freaking mullets, by the way. Just going to say it. Can still take bumps. And like I said, I had no rhyme or reason. I was just trying to think. I was like, it'd be cool if a tag team, like a prominent legendary tag team led like a little group. And then you went ahead and said a way better idea, which actually had thought put into it. And even like a breakup where they could have like a Survivor Series match.
Right.
Yeah, I think that they have tons of knowledge that they could, yeah, or even if they just managed a tag team. Like, it doesn't have to be
another. Yeah, even if they manage just another tag team, that would be cool.
Sorry, I don't want anyone to see like possible animal violence on a Zoom meeting, but
they should definitely bring up another tag team there once they're done. You know,
yeah.
once they're totally done, with NWA and wrestling in general, they should absolutely bring up another team.
Thank you, because you just jogged my memory when I was trying to think of people when we first decided on this top 5 outside. I actually did have one other person. I think they'd be golden, but you just reminded me. So I have my next one set whenever you're done.
So for number 2, I would really, really, really love to see Undertaker bring back the Ministry. You know, just sit on his giant, throne and just command people to, just beat the crap out of other people, and it'd be awesome, and he could do it in any promotion. They could do, he could do it anywhere. It'd be awesome.
He'd have to do it under the WWE banner because, like, he's a lifer now, I guess.
No, I mean any one of the shows.
Oh, okay, I got you.
SmackDown, NXT, you know what I mean? He could do it anywhere, you know. But yeah.
Only if he has to, if he can do that, but he has to chloroform Steve Austin and then try to embalm him alive again.
Yeah.
It's gotta happen. Man, the Attitude Era really didn't age well. I mean, we all think it's great, it's the best thing ever, but really, go back and watch. Yeah, it didn't age well. But anyways.
And we all got in trouble for doing the crotch chop and everything.
Dude, I still get in trouble for doing the crotch chop. Yeah, that guy that called me a dickhead Utica today is lucky that I only said what I said to him and I didn't just start shouting like wrestling insults at him. In hindsight, that would have been way better of an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used a bad word. But anyways, my number 2, and I will preface this by saying I would not want him to do it in Vince McMahon land, because this guy is a legendary announcer. He was great until he somehow had his soul snatched from his body, because now I'm glad he's not on commentary anymore, because when they brought him back, he was straight awful. But in like an NWA, I would love to see Jerry the King Lawler be a manager.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Just not in WWE, because like watch him. If there's any like younger cats watching and you've only ever seen Jerry Lawler like talking WWE in like the last 5 years or whatever, I am so sorry, because he is so much better as a heel when he doesn't have to have a filter.
Yeah.
Him and JR.
The whole Attitude Era, the Attitude Era and everything after, like, he was the color commentary. Like, he was the man.
Yeah.
He made it. He was great.
Yeah, if he was a wrestler nowadays and he talked like how he did back then, his wrestling name would probably be Toxic Masculinity.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah, it was still great, man. It was super awesome. And then the stuff that he did with RVD and Sabu and ECW when the original invasion happened between ECW and WWF back in like 96, 97. And then he went to ECW, calling him a bingo hall. And I just like he was so good. He could be such a good mouthpiece for some people that needed it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
he really could.
And I'd love to see it in NWA.
Yeah.
Since they're, supposed to be a little bit more traditional.
He'd be great as a heel manager in NWA for a tag team. He'd be perfect.
Or if he went to AEW and he just was completely like out of his mind, like he was very Jim Cornette-ish,
Right.
just to kind of rib Jim Cornette a little bit because he's always talking mad trash about AEW.
True.
I think that'd be funny. But yeah, the cake.
So then for my last
Jerry
one,
Lawler.
Number one, and I know I've said it before, I either want Triple H, I mainly want Triple H, or Shawn Michaels, or both, to form the next D-Generation X or D-Generation Next.
Okay.
Especially out of NXT people. That's what I want. That's my number one. Go.
Well, I don't have a number one, so this is all kind of just randomly out. A couple weeks ago, I would have said Taz, and I will also apologize because last week top 5 underrated mic workers, and I put Taz because he really was. When he was addressing John Moxley recently, because he was Brian Cage's manager, you can tell he hasn't talked in a while because he was slipping a little bit. He was slipping, repeating like Mox's name way too much to the point where it was kind of unbearable. But regardless, I would have said Taz. I would have said Angle for managing Matt Riddle. That was a rumor. That Angle himself actually has said, yep, they offered me that, and I said no. So that sucks. And I'm really just talking right now as I try to think of someone that could be a manager. Let me think of someone off the wall. How about that? Let me think of someone off the wall here.
Something like super crazy that like no one would ever think of ever before.
Mike Chiodas.
Really?
Yeah, I want the ref to come back and be a manager. I want Mike. Just because I want to see Mike Chiodas. Because I love Mike Chiodas. He's one of my favorite refs.
Okay.
Dude, what did we say we were going to do next week for the top 5? We forgot already.
Nothing yet, because again, it's gonna. I'll announce it later this week.
Someday, can we do top 5 refs?
Yeah.
Top 5 favorite refs.
We'll do that in 3 weeks. We'll do top 5.
People are probably thinking out there, there's no way that they each have top 5 referees. Oh, yes, we do.
Do a top 10 referees, please.
Yeah, I just said I want Mike Chiodas.
Please, easy, and not even guest refs. We could do that.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole separate list.
That's easy.
Referees, but so definitely stay tuned on the on our page on the network for possibly a big announcement come later this week, early next week, and also look out for our announcement of the top 5. We appreciate everyone hopping on this week. Make sure you check out all the other shows on Disruption Network. They are all absolutely awesome, and they're where you should be. They're the thing that you should be watching. And again, thank you to EJA Moving Company. Visit them at ejamoving.com. We super appreciate it. All right.
Garrett, I got a question, though. Do we ever figure out what we're going to say at the end of these for our closer, like our sign-off?
No, we'll come up with it next week.
All right, man. Cool. Glad we talked about it.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Later.